Start us off.
Can you start us off?
Start us off.
I don't know what to
Switching
say.
things up.
I don't know what to say.
Talk to the people. Let the people know, Bobby.
Heads up.
I haven't given you a heads up.
What's going on, guys? We're here kind of talk about our elk hunting trip we got coming up in October of 2019. We got a pretty good little ways still till then, but we just kind of talk to you guys about what are our goals for the trip, what we're doing to prepare for a trip. This stuff.
So the trip itself is something that it's not really something we ever expected to be able to do. I guess never really thought a whole lot about it, but it's just always seemed like an unobtainable goal. Something that you got to have a lot of money to do, and being super fit and stuff like that. And the more we kind of thought about it and looked at it, and honestly, we seen the Born and Raised Outdoors Land of the Free project out there on YouTube, which if you haven't watched it, watch it. If you have any interest in doing elk hunting, watch that.
Very educational.
Talk about something, just build a fire in your belly that makes you want to get out there and do something. It takes that goal that you thought was just too far out there and brings it in close, something you feel like you can reach, and it's right there. You just need a little work to make it happen. So that's what we started talking and realized, hey, this is something that we can do. We're not wealthy guys. We don't have a bunch of money sitting around, but the amount of money that we would need to do it is something we can set aside within a year and a half's time or 2 years' time. And the shape we need to get in and the things like that, this is a great driving force and something we can use as motivation to get us in shape and to get out there and do that. And there's a lot. We have a lot of friends and people that we grew up with and know that are a lot like us, and they're the kind of the same way. They were thinking the same way, and we just kind of reached out to some people, and they're not really even people that we see every day, but
right.
Maybe somebody that you want to talk to more, that that they have that same drive and they're on that same plane as you. And we talked to a couple guys, and man, they're fired up.
Just as ecstatic as we are.
Yeah.
I think too, like being Midwestern hunters, hunting whitetail is the biggest thing you can hunt around here. We always just thought, elk hunting was just, we would never have a chance to do it. But, we finally get a chance, maybe once in a lifetime, maybe every other year, something like that. If we do go out there, and we will learn as we go, you know what I mean? That could be something we could do once every 5 years maybe, but it'll definitely be an enjoyable trip and a learning experience, to say the least.
Yeah, and we have a lot of stuff to learn and a lot of stuff to do, a lot of research to do before the trip. But that's something that we're willing to put ourselves through to make this happen. So kind of our goals that we've set for ourselves for this trip are our physical fitness first. We all need to cut weight. We all need to get our bodies in better shape to hit those mountains hard. We're kind of on the edge of the Ozark Mountains here, so we do actually, it's not all flat. There's a lot of conservation areas that we have that we can go to, and we can get those mountains and hit those steep grades and get some practice in. We've got to obtain gear. With those mountains and those steep grades and stuff, we're going to need boots, clothes, things like that. And we've got to be able to get that stuff, and not only get it, but put it to use.
Learn how to use it.
Break the boots in,
anyway.
Stuff like that. Education, we need to learn. We need to do our research. There's a lot of units out in the West, a lot of places to go, where to go, where do we feel comfortable hunting, what's too far, where's the elk.
Over-the-counter.
Yeah.
Over-the-counter tags.
Over-the-counter is a must.
DIY, public land, and that'll be it.
Being the kind of guys we are, we don't have a bunch of money sitting around to just throw at drawings and put out there. So we want to definitely do over the counter. We want to go out and grab our tags and go. So there's a lot to learn. and we need to know that the draw process, the over-the-counter process, the units, all that kind of stuff. Learn numbers and things like that. So there's a lot of education we have, and just knowing elk and how elk move and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff we have to put time into. Shooting training, we've decided we're for sure gonna do rifle and not archery. So for our first time out at least. So we're definitely gonna make sure that by that time all of us are gonna be comfortable at pulling that trigger at 300 yards and without
Without a doubt.
two or three, doubts in our mind about it. There's locally we have 250 yards at a shooting range that the conservation area has. So that's pretty good. I think if you feel good at 250, you'll feel good at 300. And there's spots we can go and find 300.
Right.
And then practice. Like I said, we got to put the gear and all that stuff together.
Miles in.
And be comfortable with it. Know our gear inside and out. Be able to adapt with it if something happens out there. So that's kind of our goals that we have set for the trip. The parameters of the trip itself is we've decided Colorado is our best spot. It's outside of brown bear country, which brings the danger factor down, I think, quite a few notches. From what I understand, there is black bears. Black bears, I believe, are manageable as long as you're smart about what you do. We're doing backpacking, so we're going to hike in, and depending on feeling it out and stuff, and we may do central camp for a couple days, and we may just hit it and work out of our packs for the next couple days. It'll be a 5 to 7 day trip, and as of now we're gonna have at maximum 8 people. I think we have a solid 5.
Yeah.
For sure. No, 6. 6 for sure. So we know we're gonna have 2 vehicles, so we're gonna say that there's a maximum 8. We have a spot for 2 more, potentially. And we're gonna be backpacking, so we're gonna be hiking up into the mountains and setting up camp. So we have to be prepared for different types of weather. Gathering our gear and looking at stuff. Some of the stuff that we've looked at that we know we're gonna have to spend money on that we can't go cheap on are boots, optics, and some clothing items. I think are gonna be something we're gonna wanna spend money on. I don't know that it's gonna be necessary, but if you're going out of your backpack for 5 to 7 days, you're not taking 5 to 7 changes of clothes. So clothes is going to be something that we're going to need to look at and figure out which items we want to, maybe spend a little more on. Looking at merino wool, a lot of stuff, at some of the stuff, at least for sure for underwear, and probably socks. Because merino wool is antimicrobial, so it doesn't smell, and if it gets wet, it still keep you warm. It's a really neat fabric, but it is pricey. But it's something that you can wear for several days, and if you had a couple pair of underwear, you'd be good on that without scaring the deer off and the rest of your hunting crew after day 2 or 3. There's a couple other items that we've looked at that we don't really need. I don't think we need to go crazy and spend a lot of money on. And there is a lot of stuff out there that you can spend a ton of money on that until I actually try it, I just can't see how it's necessary. A tent is one of those things, especially if we're living out of our packs. A basic tent for just yourself, it doesn't need to be fancy. You can have a tent and a tarp, and if it's maybe a cheaper tent, not quite as waterproof, if you have a tarp in the bottom of your pack, you can stake that tarp down. And you're good to go. You can get crazy with tents. Backpackers' tents can get up to a couple $100. And I found the one that I plan on buying, I think, is like $30, and it's like a Coleman. It's pretty basic. There's not a lot.
I have a 2 million. I have another brand now as a Christmas present, and that's what I plan on taking. And a good 8-foot tarp probably.
And that's an A-frame?
No,
an
I
A-frame
do
tarp?
have A-frame, but this is just a regular dome tent, like
Yeah,
a 2-man
okay.
dome tent.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I just don't see, at least for our first trip, we're trying to watch our money and stuff and how much we're spending. We do want this to be an example for other people out there to show, hey, it's out there, you can go get it. You don't have to be.
It won't break bank, and
Yeah.
it's
Really, our goal is per person for sure to stay under $1,000 or get close to $1,000. It'll probably go over $1,000 with the tags, and we have yet to really discuss how our tags are going to go because not all 8 of us is going to be able to get an elk tag. It's just not. Makes no sense that.
we could all get tags, but the chances of filling 8 people's elk tags in 7 days, our first trip out there, even our 10th trip out there would be
Yeah.
very unlikely, we think.
Yeah, so that's something we have to sit down and discuss with the group and figure out how we're gonna go about that. There's other tags we can get. We can get mule deer tags. There's also black bear tags are fairly inexpensive, about the same price as a mule deer tag. You can also get small game and fishing permit for non-resident. I think is like $41.
$41, I believe.
And that's awesome. I think it's for 5 days. And I mean, we could catch a stream, you know, maybe a couple guys split off one day and just go find a stream and catch some fish, or try and ruffle up a couple grouse or other small game that we can bring back and have for food. And speaking of food, that's something that we've been doing a lot of research on food. Being that we're big guys, the first thing we thought about on this trip is food. How are we gonna eat? So we've been researching Mountain House freeze-dried foods and other branded freeze-dried foods, and trying them. Bobby's kind of a picky eater, so he's pretty concerned about that.
Very.
But I think with the house so far, he's been pretty satisfied.
So far, yeah. Yeah, we have other videos out there. Check them out. You'll see our reviews on them too. We have, what, 4 or 5 different ones?
Yeah. We've
so.
tried a couple different ones and put them out there. It's not bad. I mean, I can eat it. I have no problem with it. I could eat it without having to be necessarily. I don't necessarily have to be out in the woods, you know, 5 days in to have to eat it. I mean, if I just want to go on an overnight fishing trip, it's not gonna hurt to throw one in my pack. They don't weigh nothing. They don't take up much space. And if I have a bad day of fishing, I got a Mountain House to eat on. I don't have to try and
Eat them acorns.
eat them acorns, as Bobby said. So food is something we'll have to look at, but I think we've done a little research on that, and it shouldn't be too difficult.
And a lot of stuff we look at too for examples on what to do and what not to do, and what to pack, what not to pack. Just go to YouTube and just look under YouTube at anything you want. Just look on there, and there will be something to help educate you on the actual trip itself, where to go or not to go. It just, if you're planning on something like this, just use all your materials that you could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know, just check it out, look it up, do your research on it. If
Yeah,
we
for
can
a
do
couple
it,
of
surely anybody can do it.
Especially if you're trying to be price effective with the stuff you're buying. I've gotten pretty decent, or tried to become pretty decent at saving money and buying things at a lower price stuff. So if you are buying stuff on Amazon to save money, really watch there's always one item out there, or maybe 2 or 3, that have way better reviews. And the number of reviews is a big thing, because you can have 10 reviews, but they may be fake reviews. So that's something to watch. If you're buying cheaper, price effective items, that, you know, quality is always an issue when you run into that stuff. So those reviews make a big difference. The burner I bought had, I don't know, like 750 reviews, and it was like 4.5 stars. I'm like, man, there's no way this thing can be junk. And it's not. It's great. It was like $15. You know, and you could have spent a lot more and probably got a better item, but I have no problem with that. It works good. So there's things like that out there that when you're buying, just watch those reviews, because I think it's important to know that we don't have to spend the money just because all all the guys you watch on YouTube doing the elk hunts and stuff are all wearing this and that. Doesn't mean you gotta. That's the only thing to wear. You know, go out there and look for other stuff. There's maybe you don't need that camel pattern. Maybe you just want to buy some tan colored clothing or some like olive green stuff like this, and you could even, those vinyl cutters are very cheap. I know my wife has one. You guys have one too.
My wife has one, yeah.
And they use them all the time. You could put your own vinyl pieces on those clothing and just breaking it up. You don't necessarily need to have a full-blown Realtree camo pattern to it. You just want to break up your shape a little bit with some other colors. So
Another thing we did too is like my wife bought me, I had a cheaper cook stove, like $12 I think it was, $10 from Walmart. She happened to stumble across a sale on the Camp Chef Striker, and it was, what, half price? It was over half price and it's cheaper. So don't just rush into certain items just because it's there. If you just do your research, like he was saying, he bought some batteries for a charger he's building, and he bought them last week for $6 and happened to catch them on sale. This week they're double that price. So just kind of watch, and I would say watch the market, but watch that item and it'll go, it's not always going to be that price. If it is, you can find an item close to that for a cheaper, you know what I'm saying, like for a cheaper price, you know.
And do a little research on it as far as like statistics and things like that. But for instance, the batteries, if you know, I looked at it and I kind of knew a little bit, but you can do a little research on what those numbers mean when they tell you amp hour and things like that. Because if you can go to the next item over and it's $2 cheaper, and you can go look and say, well, heck, it's the same exact statistics. You know, everything matches up. It's the same exact item. It's just got a different brand slapped on it.
Right.
And there is a lot of that on Amazon, especially Amazon. There's that private label. There's a lot of private label. It's the exact same item coming out of China. It's just branded with different people's logo on it, which doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that somebody may be selling the exact same thing with a different brand on it for a couple bucks cheaper, and you can save a couple bucks and not lose anything at all whatsoever.
Which that all add up too.
Yeah.
$5 here, $7 there. It'll all add up.
It definitely all adds up. Just like, and we're trying to do a lot of DIY stuff, showing you how to build your own things. We're going to be doing a battery pack build, like a charging box. Those things can run you, you know, good ones are around $40 on the internet, and that'll get you like 22,000 milliamp hour charger. The one we're going to be building will cost you around $50 to $60, but we'll have about 90,000 milliamp hours, so way more. You can charge a ton more stuff on it. If you're trying to do filming and stuff like we're going to be trying to do, we're going to need a ton of batteries. We're going to have to charge that stuff a lot. So this is something that's going to weigh about 5 pounds, and we're going to need it and use it a lot. Hey, buddy. Say hi.
Never.
Never.
Go play.
I'm on the scooter. I can't get out.
Okay.
Stay over there.
Don't bump it.
I can go inside it. I can put it inside, but.
Hey, we're almost done, baby. Okay.
And then you guys are gonna go home.
Oh, what?
Go home.
Oh, go home. Yep. I'll go home here in a little bit.
Go play.
Well, you guys need to play all you can while you can.
And that's part of it. That's right there. That right there is what's gonna make it tough.
That's right there's what's keeping me from buying the higher end stuff.
Yeah. So.
Your mommy will too.
You can ride that one. Don't do that.
Hey, Kyla. Can you just take him upstairs for like a little longer,
Are you doing that? Hurry up.
please?
Come on.
Kimber,
Your dad wants you to go upstairs.
Kimber, give us like 5 more minutes and we'll be upstairs, okay?
Yeah, go back upstairs, kids.
You want a couple more?
Huh?
You want a couple more?
What?
Kids?
No. You kidding me? Did you see mine?
Get one on the way. But like we're saying, that right there, I have 2 kids. He has 2, one on the way. So that's the reason we're going cost effective and just going cheaper price, but still quality.
You look for the best deal. Don't just grab the top brand out there and buy everything the top brand. We're not knocking the top brands at all by any means. We just want to be realistic. We want to know what's out there. Any videos we ever post, it's real. I mean, it's our videos are real. It's just us. We're gonna be doing this stuff whether we put it on video or not. Being on video,
help us learn and help you guys learn too off of that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be doing the hunting and stuff anyway, it doesn't take us a whole lot more to grab a camera and document it.
And 2, if we have cameras, if we look back at the video, we can say, wow, that was an idiot move. We know not to do that. Like, why did we buy this item whenever we could have got by with item B, you know?
Right.
So it's, like I said, it's learning for us and you guys too. We're gonna try our best, everything we can to help you guys learn in case you do want to do something like this in the future.
Yeah, if we make a mistake out in the woods, I mean, we learn from it, but a big advantage of having it on video is we can show other people and they can learn from it. The best way to learn is from making mistakes. It's unfortunate, but and doing a lot of this research, hopefully we won't. Hopefully we'll know what we're doing and be able to put that information that we've gathered to the ground once we get out there.
And if nothing else, it'll be good laughing material for you guys. Because if you got 8 guys going to Colorado that's never hunted in Colorado, never hunted elk, I imagine we're gonna get a lot of comments of people just laughing at us.
Yeah.
It'll be a comic relief if nothing else.
Yeah. Hey, whatever we can provide, we'll provide it.
You'll get it all.
So looking forward, we're with practice and trying to get stuff together. We're gonna try and get our core group of guys together and do a couple trips. It also gives us a chance to put our equipment to the test, and maybe we're gonna buy some cheaper stuff that we thought we were gonna be able to get away with, and realize after 2 trips that it's starting to get rips and tears, and we're like, hey, we've only went out twice with this, and it's already starting to deteriorate. Maybe we need to look at spending a little more on this and that. So that's something we have. We have a lot of rivers and things around here that we can fish, so we're gonna try once the weather turns a little better and get our canoes and kayaks out and do some overnight camps and just some little fishing trips and things like that.
We got a trout trip in April.
The last weekend in April, we'll be going to Montauk State Park in Missouri for our trout trip.
Annual trout trip.
And the plan is this year we'll have a camper there that some of the guys will be staying in. But I think our core group that will be going has decided that we're gonna try and use our camping setup. So we'll be out there for 2 nights.
3 nights.
Friday night, Saturday night.
So,
Yeah, 2 nights.
2 nights, yeah.
2 nights, and that'll give us a little bit of practice for putting our stuff out there multiple days as far as like a central camp.
Our stoves that we're gonna cook for ourselves. It's gonna basically be like a pre-run to see what we can and can't do without.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's a ton. Missouri's got a lot of conservation areas and a decent bit of public land. One of our main goals to do next year in 2018 is going to be trying to hit the Peck Ranch conservation area and trying to do a hike-in camp there and put our gear to the test. And they also have the Missouri elk herd is out there, and they have a pretty nice elk herd they're building. So we're wanting to go out there and see if they'll let us kind of bugle around and camp out there with them, and that'll give us a little bit of bring us down to earth and really a gut check point if we can get out into some of those mountains and hear some elk just rip out some bugles while we're camping. I think that'll really light a fire under us for that next year into 2019 for sure. So that's one of our main goals. Other than that, there's a lot of other conservation areas that we can hit that are pretty close to home.
Apple Creek.
Apple Creek's really close to
How many acres is that?
2100. Apple Creek is like 2,000 acres. It's got a nice shooting range, and then there's a couple other ones that are pretty close to where I live that are about 800 acres. But we could hit some, get a camp in, and just get some practice. The more we get used to it, the more we can get used to being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think the better we are, and the more resilient we'll be once we get out there. Because the worst thing that could be is be soft. You know, if we get out there and the weather turns bad, you know, the best attitude we can have is that maybe it'll stir up some elk, other than just being down and bummed out and wanting to just get out of the mountains, you know. So other than that, that's all I got on the elk hunt. It's something I think about every day, and it's just it's
definitely a bucket list for both of us. I know for sure. I'm sure the other guys too, but it's definitely something we've always wanted to do. You know, you'll check it off our list.
Yeah,
Possibly do it more.
yeah, for sure. It's a lot of meat. For sure, it's a lot of meat, and I think it's a big kind of a bonding experience. You know, packing out and going through that pain, you know, together. It definitely is
Like,
kind of
as
a
of-
bonding thing.
As of right now, like my little brother, he plans on going. I think it'd be cool just to do something like that with, you know, my best friends, my little brother, just kind of do it together, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, you definitely learn more about somebody when they're weak, or when they're stressed out. You're gonna see the real people. So, just keep an eye out for our stuff. We'll keep you posted on our progress.
If you guys have any suggestions to help us out on the way out there, just feel free to comment. You know, tell us we're idiots. Just anything to
Yeah,
help us out, you know.
for sure. We've got any of these trips we come up with. We'll definitely have those on video for you guys, because videoing is something we've definitely got to practice and get better at, as well as our editing and like the battery box we're building. That's something that we're doing specifically for videoing and having extra batteries and extra cards and things like that, knowing how it's all going to work. The more practice, the better prepared we're going to be when we do get out there. So keep an eye out for that. Any of those practice trips that we have coming up, we'll have those on video and put those out there for you. The power box build is going to be out there. I'm hoping my parts will come in for that this week. I should be able to put that together and be able to build that next week, and we can start testing that. We'll be able to test that on these practice trips as well, because it's only going to weigh about 5 pounds, so it shouldn't be too terrible to pack in and throw down at Central Camp. 5 pounds is a lot of weight, but not if it saves everybody from having to carry a lot of extra chargers and portable chargers. And I mean, your portable charger is not going to last you 7 days when you're filming all day long. So you're going to need a way to put power into things. So this will be able to charge those portable chargers plus our devices. And that's kind of what we're wanting. And if one person has to carry an extra 5 pounds in, or if we bring 2 of them, we can build them for fairly inexpensive. So
And two, if everybody's going to use it, you might be able to just pass it around
that's true.
depending on how far you're hiking. Kind of split the load.
Yeah, it's not a ton of weight, and it's actually fairly small. It's probably about a foot long by 6 inches wide by
8 tall.
8 tall. Yeah, so it's not super big. Something you could throw in on a load shelf, on a backpack, or just strap to the top, and it will be waterproof. So easy to throw in the front of your canoe. Anything else that you guys want to see DIY, try and build on, or if you've got any ideas, please comment or message on Facebook, Instagram, or you can send us an email. I'll post that in the description on this. You can shoot us an email if you have any questions or any suggestions. I like to dive into the mechanical side and engineering mindset of some of these items and design our own. So like the power box is going to be one thing like that. And if there's anything else out there you can think of that you just feel like could be something that could be built by somebody other than trying to buy it. Just holler at us. We'll come up with something. So keep watching our stuff. Keep sharing it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our page or our channel on YouTube, and we'll just keep pumping content out. I'm hoping to get a rabbit hunt in yet. Rabbits and squirrels are in for another month and a half.
Month and a half, I believe.
Yeah, I just talked to a guy the other night. He's got some rabbit dogs, and I think we'll try and get some rabbit hunting out. That's something else with Allied Outdoors. We're not just deer hunters or duck hunters or turkey hunters. We want to experience it all. We love the outdoors. We love hunting. We love providing meat for our families. It's so much healthier to eat the wild game than it is to eat feedlot cattle and stuff that you buy at the store that's frozen and that's been eating, corn all its life. You eat this wild game, it's so much better and enriching for you and your family, especially if you've got kids that you're raising. So we want to experience it all. We're open to any type of hunting that's out there.
We're equal opportunity hunters.
Equal opportunity hunters, that's for sure. We definitely like to have the food. Otherwise, you got to eat them acorns, as Bobby says.
Eat the acorns.
All right, guys. Keep up on all our stuff and wish us luck. We'll keep plugging along. That was a lot of talking.
That was a lot of talking.
We kind of covered trout chip in there too.
Yeah.